A real pleasure talking with you this hour.
Well, thank you, man. I appreciate you guys listening. I know I can be long winded from time to time, but I appreciate you guys hearing me out.
That's what storytellers do.
What's up, Herostock Nation?
He ain't got my smile, that don't bother me a bit. He's got somebody else's eyes I'm seeing myself in. I'm holding on to every moment, God knows I missed a few. The day we met, I knew I had some catching up to do. He ain't my blood, ain't got my name, but if he did, I'd feel the same. I wasn't there for his first steps, but I ain't missed a ball game yet, and that ain't ever gonna change. I could never walk away. Yeah, he's my son, and that's my choice. He ain't my blood, but he's my boy. It hit me like a train the first time he called me dad, in a 3-stick figure crayon picture with all of us holding hands. His mama said, I understand if it's too soon for this. I didn't let her finish, I took it to the kitchen and I stuck it on the fridge, yeah. He ain't my blood, ain't got my name, but if he did, I'd feel the same. I wasn't there for his first steps, but I ain't missed a ball game yet, and that ain't ever gonna change. I could never walk away. Yeah, he's my son, and that's my choice. He ain't my blood, but he's my boy. He's Saturday morning cartoons. He's aching asleep in your room. He's bigger than the plans I had. He's making me a better man. He ain't my blood, ain't got my name, but if he did, I'd feel the same. I wasn't there for his first steps, but I ain't missed a ball game yet, and that ain't ever gonna change. I can never walk away. Yeah, he's my son, and that's my choice. He ain't my blood, but he's my boy. Yeah, he's my boy.
And that was the song that everyone was listening to on the internet in 2018 and again in 2021. We know this because eventually it went platinum in sales and brought a lot of attention on its songwriter and singer, Elvie Shane. Tom Lamog here with Matthew Jones. Hey, Matt, how's it going?
Oh man, I'm excited. This guy that we're going to introduce today has got a direct line to one of the happiest moments of my entire life. I can't wait for everybody to get to listen to him and get to learn about him, and I can't wait for people to come to Hero Stock and to get to hear him play. So I'm super excited.
I was on a mission to take a listen to Elvie's songs, some of his albums before we came on the interview with him just to get a sense of what the music is about. All I can say is it's a must listen to. Damascus, it's become one of my favorites. It really is. It's on auto repeat now. And I got to tell you, it's just fresh, innovative. It's new, it's wonderful, and it's by our friend Elvie Shane. And if
Hey,
I'm on there, Elvie, hey,
what's going on?
how's it going?
I better get in here before y'all say too much good about me. I don't want them to get the wrong idea.
Oh man.
Everything you heard is true. My goodness. Hey, where are you at tonight?
I am I'm out at Conley Bottom Marina in Monticello, Kentucky, sitting outside of my camper.
It's looking beautiful out there.
Hey man, thank you guys for having me, man. I'm looking forward to it.
So looking forward to having you come out, man. It's something Jason has said he was when he originally connected with you, he had told me, he goes, I'm so excited. Elvie Shane's gonna be here. And I said, I listen to rock primarily, so I'm gonna have to go do a little bit of research. When I listened to the songs that are on Damascus, it crossed over so many different genres, told so many different stories. It was fresh, innovative, and not predictable. And it was like, I got to listen to this again. So rather than doing that, I went out to listen to your first album. And it's got like 15 songs on it. I thought to myself, "All right, I'm set. I'm s-
Well, man, I don't claim to be any like one genre. I never really have tried to. I don't really like claim country music or rock and roll or whatever. I mean, if anything, maybe like Heartland, soul. I don't know. I just try to. I try to. I don't know, just a songwriter and a singer, and I only dig for one thing when I'm looking at what I'm going to put on the record, and that's if it makes me feel something, whether it's a waltz, a old classic country waltz, or a four on the floor raging punk hillbilly song like Appalachian Alchemy. I don't know. It's like I just I want to feel something from. I believe if I feel something, then I can make somebody feel something. And I grew up listening to so much different stuff from, my first two influences would have been like John Fogerty's solo stuff from 97 Blue Moon Swamp, and then uh, Steve Earle's early stuff, Guitar Town, Exito, Copperhead Road, stuff like that.
Mhm.
But then, I'm listening to Korn and Slipknot on the bus on the way to school. I'm listening to Eminem. I'm listening to Ti. It's just there's so much, and aside from all that, I'm listening. When I'm around my papa, like George Jones. And also gospel music was a big part of my upbringing. Every Sunday, singing hymns in church with mom. And so it's just I don't know. I had so much fun listening to all that stuff. I didn't want to be stuck singing one kind of genre or one thing for my whole career. Damascus was an interesting project. We moved back to East Kentucky where she's from and spent those 2.5 years here writing that project. And that whole project was kind of a reflection of how I seen working class America being treated at the time. There was a lot of political issues going on, some that I agree with my small town blue collar people on, some that I don't, but I still respect their opinion and know why they have it.
Mhm.
And because of where they come from, and I come from that too. So I wanted to get away from uh I just wanted to get away from a voice that I didn't recognize as much to work on that project.
Both of the albums have distinct personalities. All right. The project that you refer to as Damascus has a more progressive feel to it for me. It's kind
Yeah,
of like, what? This is outside the box.
yeah.
This is definitely outside of, what I wrote on the first album on Backslider. It's kind of like, what? I think I've discovered how to write for the country radio environment. I I,
Yeah.
I know how to do this.
Well, I feel like the first record was very like bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, new to the thing, nostalgic about where I come from and how I got there. The second one was, you know, I mean, it just represents that first record was more about my teenage years and my early 20s. And then the second record was more about learning that life really can hit you in the face and there's struggles involved. And then like trying to figure out what things are important to me and, listening to people's stories on the road, their hard stories, their stories of fortitude, and just trying to apply that, in songs like, the song about my buddy from back home on 215634, who's serving time over in a prison here in Kentucky, or songs like, Winning Horse, where it's just like, hey man, bet on me, and if you don't, I'm sorry. But I knew that Damascus would do one or two things after going back and forth on it for so long with the label. I knew that what I would have loved to have seen happen, originally was like, hey, y'all are going to be wrong. This record's going to blow up and it's going to do the thing that I needed to do for ticket sales. Or if that don't happen, then I just kind of felt I'd been more educated on how the system works at that point in time. And I felt like I wanted to be independent. And I was like, if it doesn't work out that way, then it'll be much easier for me to exit these deals and ask out of some of these deals that I feel like I got myself into before I really knew what I was getting myself into, and it ended up working out that way, and with a lot of grace and with a lot of friendships still intact, with all the friendships still intact. So I can still call. I just, as a matter of fact, called somebody from the label today to ask them some information about something, and they got right back to me. We had a great conversation on the phone, so I was able to leave with some integrity and also diplomatically and maintain some good relationships in the industry, and I'm happy for that.
I gotta tell you, I connected with the Damascus album, and it's the sound. When I listen to what do I know, which is I absolutely love that song. 215634, love it. Jonesin, awesome.
Nah.
Chicken, dude, they're great songs. Like I love the album. Um, but that sound, like I'm just one of those independent artists who kind of does everything by myself here in my little studio. So it can be like really overwhelming. And, you can kind of get, caught behind all the stuff you have to do. And when I was listening to that album, I'm just like, this is the kind of music that I hear when I'm trying to write mine, what I want it to sound like. So I just connected with it immediately. And you,
Well,
sir, I have to tell you, have a direct link to one of the happiest moments in my entire life. And I'm sure you get this a lot, with my boy, but my daughter, when she got married, our father-daughter dance was my girl. And she's not my biological daughter. I'd been with her since she was like 2 years old. And in that moment, man, like I was so vulnerable. I cried like a baby, but it was one of the happiest moments of my life. So my one question to you is, I mean, I imagine you get that from a lot of people that just really connect with the music. What does that do for you in terms of like inspiring and motivating you to do more and more with music?
I mean, as much of an anomaly as that song was compared to the rest of the music, it still is the thing that I tried to follow for that entire record of Backslider and Damascus and this record that we just did. I just need to feel some kind of honesty in what I'm talking about in my music, whether it's like about me or whether I can relate to it. So, for instance, 215634, I haven't spent any hard time in prison. I found out in college that they don't think too highly of you having a big bag of weed under your futon in your apartment, but other than that, I just haven't spent, any time in jail. But my buddy is, he's in there for life right now. And he said something on the phone one day. I said, hey man, you need me to send you anything to help you out? And he said, are you kidding, dude? I can do this time standing on my head. It's just like the hollers in the streets in here. And I grew up in the hollers of Kentucky, and then when I lived in Bowling Green, I lived in a little rough part of town there in Bowling Green, and kind of got a sense for that life. And I was like, I know what that feels like, and it feels like you're stuck both
Hmm.
places. It feels like you can't get out. And that's kind of what I tapped into to write that song. So whether it's, My Boy or 215634, which are obviously polar opposites, it's just like I just need to, like I said, feel something and know that I can relate to it in some way.
You talk about, being with your mom and being with your dad and the influences that they had in your youth and introducing you to music. Can you can you reflect on that a little bit about, about that experience?
Oh yeah, man. I mean, Mama was a thing, Daddy was a singer. I mean, they were polar opposites, still are to this day. They're still married. I mean, 40 something years. Mama's, church every Sunday, every Wednesday night, every third Saturday of the month. Don't drink, don't smoke, don't cuss. Fights only. She don't fight either, but loves to fight with Daddy. Daddy, was a pot smoking, beer drinking, truck driving, Harley riding, hippie, friggin' redneck. It's just
Yeah.
so. It's just been, it was a crazy upbringing. My dad was always kind of a loose cannon, and he was a lot of fun, but also like you could flip a switch on him real quick, and mama, mama was pretty consistent. Mama's always just been steady as a stone, it's like, what to do and what not to do around mama. You know what to say and what not to say around mama. Uh, Daddy, you just pick your days and wonder what's good today and what ain't, he's just everybody. My dad is a freaking unicorn, man. That man can walk into a gymnasium full of people that disagree with him on everything, and he will be very loud about what he thinks, and somehow they will all love him in the end. I, I don't know. I don't know how he does it. He's got the gift of gab. Uh, I mean, he can look at a heavy woman and start calling her fluffy, and she'll think he's the coolest dude on the face of the earth,
Oh
buddy.
my gosh.
Let let me guess, this is where you got your lyric writing experience from.
Well, yeah, so Daddy definitely. Mama taught me to love singing because she was very active singer in the church, and so she taught me a lot about like singing parts, how to sing harmonies at a very young age. And then I would get home from church, and Daddy would be out, drinking a case of beer and working on an old semi truck or working on some old, beater that he had bought or traded for. And so after church, I would get home, make me a ham and cheese loaf sandwich, go out and hang out with Dad in the driveway, and we would listen to, or we'd go ride around, and that was the '90s, so all the roads around my house was gravel. So I learned how to driving Daddy around on Sunday afternoons while he drank cold beer, and he would just like we would listen to we'd listen for me to anything from like Otis Redding to Steve Earle to Mellencamp to freaking the Temptations. It's like he didn't care. He didn't care what color you was or where you come from or anything, as long as you had something to say in your music. And he always taught me to be like, listen to the words first. He's like, there's a lot of songs that you might not like the beat of, or you might not like the guitar parts or whatever, but maybe there's something that you need to hear in the words. And so we'd ride around, just listen to lyrics. And he I don't know, he had good taste in great songwriters. And
Yeah. That
so I
that's all.
got that from
It
him.
is
Yeah.
reflecting in your music, by the way. There was a song, one of your songs reminded me of something Mellencamp would have covered. I thought, but he doesn't have Mellencamp listed anywhere on the bios. And I thought, thank you for confirming that. I mean, you do play music. You are listening to all genres of music. And that to me, I know that you attributed that to your dad. And that to me is, that's the ultimate in the parent showing their child the way with music and all.
Yeah, man. I mean, absolutely. I feel like that was a good, I feel like I was kind of set up from a very young age to be where I'm at right now, just being around those two. And Mellencamp was obvious. I hope it's obvious, was a big influence as well. I think Mellencamp and Steve Earle and Bruce Springsteen
Thanks,
kind
Steve, as
of,
well, too. Yeah. Yeah. Because
yeah, they're all kind of like in the same class to me. Like the way that they uh, exude like working class struggle and working class blue collar like life and story. Even though we've changed so much, and I, I I don't know, we've became so divided by politics a lot these days, but and those guys kind of are chucked off to one side by the majority of the blue collar folks. But if you really listen to the words of their songs, I still feel like they might think differently, philosophically about uh, politics or whatever, but they come from that and they understand the story, and I think that there's still a lot of value in the music. I'm one of those kind of guys that kind of refuses to write off an artist because I may or may not agree with their political views. It's just I'm like, man, I'm so glad there's people that disagree with me, because I would never learn anything if everybody always agreed.
Oh yeah.
Very true. Hey, by the way, going back to Miles, that harmony vocal. Oh,
Mama.
I'm telling you, I was listening to that. I'm going, is that his mama?
Yeah,
Or is that a band called My Mama? But I wasn't, and I thought, oh, okay, I'll ask him. But
yeah.
no, I enjoyed the album, but I enjoyed that song in particular for the reasons that it's like outside the box, and it's like this just sounds wonderful, beautiful.
Yeah, man. I love the trucking industry. I mean, I grew up in it. I've drove myself a little bit doing farm work and stuff, and I
Yeah,
love those guys. Growing up around those guys was you met a lot of characters in the '90s in the trucking industry. There were so many different types of people out there, hippies and rednecks, and everything. So it was a cool culture to be brought up in, especially in the '90s. That culture is kind of waning these days, but there's still some true blue, old truck drivers out there in the world. So
definitely call that out at Herostock because there may be a few there.
absolutely, absolutely.
Other thing I wanted to ask you about. Okay, early on is 2021, and you're selected to be on tour with Brooks and Dunn and with Travis Tritt. I would love to hear about that experience.
Oh man, I mean it was cool. Like we didn't really get to hang out with Kix and Ronnie or Travis a whole lot. We kind of crossed paths here and there with those guys, but we got to really know their band members really well and hung out with those guys on a daily basis and just had a blast hanging out with the band and the crew guys. I always tend to end up hanging out with the stage hands and the crew and the other band members more than I do the artist. Not, I mean, not that the artists are bad folks, but some artists can just be a little weird, man. They stay hid on their damn bus all day, all night until it's time to go out there and sing. I gotta get out there, and I like to get out and mingle with people. And
Yeah,
I
man.
I worked production for a couple of years before I started doing the artist thing, so I know what it's like to be out on the road building stages and running monitors and having artists yell and cuss at you and stuff. So I know what those guys go through too. So I appreciate them. And I don't know, man. I mean, I got to, usually right before Kix and Ronnie went on stage, we'd all like take a shot backstage, and then Travis, I've known Travis for quite a while. I met him at a house in Windsor, Colorado
Oh,
years ago. He was out there playing for a mutual friend at a friend's house and staying out there a couple of days. And Travis has always been good to us. He's had us out on several shows with him since then and put us out in front of his crowd, and they usually respond really well to our music. So I appreciate him for it.
is he as good a guitar player as he seems to be?
Man, he is the dude's just super talented in a lot of ways. I never really paid attention to his guitar playing, I guess, now that you mention it, as much as I paid
Neither did
attention to
I.
his singing and his lyrics,
Yeah.
because the
Yeah.
boy, the boy can write a song for sure.
He played an acoustic concert and he was just up there by himself. And I was wowed by what he was doing on guitar. I thought I had
Yeah.
no idea. He's been hiding behind his band and sandbagging, but now it's like the
Yeah, if you listen close enough when I play, you'll hear me fumble through a chord. I'll be like,
Yeah. Oh, that's me too, brother. I never make it through a whole show without playing the wrong chords on every song.
yeah.
Uh, I usually tell front of house, keep that acoustic turned down a little bit if you don't mind.
we have some songwriters that we occasionally uh they show up and they watch the show as well too. And can we talk a little about the songwriting process that you're involved with? And I've looked at, on your website, you do list you do give credit to your songwriters, but how did you find them? And is it something that you all come together typically when you have these songwriting sessions, or do you have like a number of people that you typically just go ahead and collaborate with? Is it a set group, or is it like where I go to whoever I want kind of a thing?
I mean, it's like when you first get to town, especially when you first get a record deal, they start kind of shipping you all over town to write with everybody, and you
Okay.
just you naturally find people that you mesh well with. And I used to be a guy that's like, I never want to have a camp. They call it being very campy when there's only certain people. I don't consider myself to be super campy, but I think camps are developed for a reason. And there's probably like 8 or 10 guys that are usually like the ones that I'm writing with the most. But I feel like I keep my calendar pretty open to you know uh publisher, putting somebody on there to just meet that they think I'll mesh well with. Or like there's this kid, Kenny Whitmire, this kid is killer, man. He's like 90s country, late 80s, early 90s country kind of throwback guitar player and singer. But I seen him on Instagram here a while back, and I just sent him a message on Instagram. It's like, yo, man, I want to rap, And so I do that quite a bit too. I'll find some of these up and coming cats before they blow up on Instagram. And if I like what they're doing, I'll just reach out and be like, hey, man, let's write a song together. So, uh,
That's right on that. I'm just curious because you've got your third album that's coming out, but you've also got the first two. Is that are there any of those songwriters that you found that, hey, like, come on.
yeah, like my first record, probably Dan Couch, Adam Wood, Oscar Charles, Luke Preston, John Sherwood. Uh, I mean, I'll miss somebody if I keep going, or I already have missed plenty of people. But those four I know, and probably like 3 or 4 other ones that were writers on both records. And then all those guys I just mentioned were also part of the process on the record that we just recorded. Those guys also play instruments. So the first record we had a lot of studio, A-list studio musicians that play on all the best records played on that first record, and I love those guys. The second record we didn't have the budget for that, and I was like, I love what me and my friends have been doing. Like, why do you like if we don't have the money for it, that isn't going to stop me from putting a record out. These guys will play on it. And so that's where we kind of discovered that sound of Damascus, and it was just like there's going to be some errors here and there. There's going to be some flubs, but it's like it happened. And it's like I don't think it should be like perfect. So, and I also don't think that I should like love every single second of every song because I'm not the only person in the room. Now, some of my guys that play on the records would hear me say that and be like, "Bull." But I mean, I can be a bear in the studio for sure. But I also feel like I feel like I give those guys quite a bit of freedom to like be who they are with their instruments and with their songs. For the most part, you just need people, as going back to songwriting, you just need people that understand what you're trying to say and how you would say it. So a lot of times somebody will throw out a line, I'll be like, I love what that's getting at, but I would just use a little different language, or I would say, ain't instead of I'm not, or something like that. Uh, that's most of it, man. Just knowing that you got people that are trying to get to the same, goalpost with you, and just try to figure out how to get the ball down the field.
Matt, did you have any other questions for me about
I
songwriting?
don't, man. I'm super excited to see you.
Man, I'm
Like
looking forward to coming
and I
play.
don't want to be weird or anything, but like, dude,
I'll kiss
like
you right on the
I
mouth, boy.
want to
Oh
I
my
want to grow. I want to, network with other people, and this is just a great opportunity for me. I'm doing what I'm love. I'm excited about the things that I'm doing and the people that I'm meeting, and I can't wait, man. I think it's
Dude,
gonna be
it's cool,
awesome.
man. I mean, it's like none of us start this worrying about money or anything else. So it's just like, and I've had to remind myself of this because, there's been times when the money's been good, when the money's not been there at all, and it's like, I sang this song in church when I was a kid called His Eyes on the Sparrow. And it says, for his eyes on the sparrow so I know he watches me, you know. And it's like I just tried to be good by do good by people and be honest. And I I want to record records and write songs and play shows because I love doing that. And I hope that I I I really hope that God will just continue to bless me and being able to take care of myself and mine through doing that. But if not, I'd be doing it anyway, you know. And it's just we get so wrapped up in all the social media this and social media that and masters and publishing and all this crazy stuff these days that we forget that the reason that we did this is because we heard something when we were a kid one time. It was like, dang man, that's what I
Yeah,
want to do, you know. So
I agree 100%. There's a reason I've been playing guitar for 20 years
yeah, right.
because I just can't stop. I love it that much, so man, I'm excited to see you. I'm excited to hear you guys play.
We just put together a banging set list last show we played too. I'm excited. I've been playing with the set list for, man, I play with it all the time, but we played a show in Nevada, Night in the Country in Yerington, Nevada a couple weeks ago. And I thought I had a little more time before we were supposed to go on stage. I was just walking around in my flip flops and my army pants with no shirt on. And and they were like, "Hey man, you got 15 minutes." And I was like, "Oh." So I just walked up there and kicked my flip flops off on the back of stage, walked up there with no shoes, no shirt, and a guitar, and we sent it, and we
Hey,
had it was
your
so much fun, man.
Nice.
your show. It's been awesome sitting here talking with you this evening. Just taking us through some of the stories that go with the songs and a little bit of things that maybe people didn't really know about you.
Well, thank you, man. I appreciate you guys listening. I know I can be long winded from time to time, but I appreciate you guys hearing me out.
That's what storytellers do.
What's up, Herostock Nation? August 23rd, Country Drive Golf Course. We have 4 amazing bands coming in. We have Kimberly Meyer, we have South of Center, we have the Trainer Band, and headlining that night, we have Elvie Shane. It's going to be an amazing night. Gates open at 4. We run till 11 o'clock. Grab your tickets, head on out to Country Drive, and come hang with us. Let's go.
Well, that was quite a conversation. Yeah, yeah, I know
Wow.
you must be beside yourself talking to Elvie and telling him the
My
story.
daughter's gonna lose her.
I'm excited to share this music with people that I know will appreciate it. It's a true singer-songwriter album without all of the rules that go into producing songs. And it's quite evident.
I absolutely loved the Damascus album. I mean, Jones in What Do I Know? 215-634.
Mm.
Pill,
Yeah.
Chicken.
Outside Dog, was that the name of the first song? The opening?
Yeah, Outside Dog.
It's like right there, it's kind of like, oh, this is nice.
Yeah.
Cool. This is like, yeah. I'm gonna
I really dug that album. I really connected with that. I'm excited to hear more from him.
Coming up next, Eastern Nebraska is sending one of their favorite bands to Herostock Ashland when they play Country Night on Saturday, August 23rd. Their name, South of Center, playing high energy originals, rock, country, and crowd favorite covers as well too. We'll be talking to their lead singer, Chris Holt, when we come back. You're watching the Herostock Nation podcast.
What's up, Herostock Nation? Hey, did you know that we have camping this year? You can come out to Herostock August 22nd, 23rd for our main event. We have camping right on spot. $100 primitive camping. Come out, hang out, bring your camper, bring your tent, whatever you want. You can stay right on site. That way you don't have to leave. Plus, we will have a jam session Saturday that even if you don't have an instrument, you want to come hang out, you are more than welcome to come in and hang out with us while all our musicians are jamming and local area musicians come in as well. All right, let's go.
I gotta say, I love being able to sit here and talk to you and see you smile, right? Because I'm gonna tell you, you're not a small guy. You're an intimidating figure, man. And that's part of the reason I didn't come talk to you last Hero Stock. I was like, that guy, whoo,
Hey, you're the one with the beard. I
yeah,
mean,
this covers stuff up, man.
You left yesterday, and I'm sick of all those games you played. You ruined my life, leaving me with only pride. But there's bills on the table, there's mouths to be fed. Gotta keep making payments, keep this roof overhead. Should've known it better when I gave you the ring. But never knew the trouble that you bring. 'Cause I'm better off without you. 'Cause I'm better off, I'm better off, I'm better off. Better off without you. Well, I figured it out. Just what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna strike a match, and I'm gonna say goodbye to you. No more cheating, no more lying, no more fooling around. 'Cause Lord knows I was trying to turn this around, but it's all over now. I've had all I could take, and I promise you I'll be your last mistake. 'Cause I'm better off without you. 'Cause I'm better off, I'm better off, I'm better off. Better off without you.
Rocking up the Hero Stock Nation podcast, That South of Center, and Better Off Without You. Tom Lamog here with Matthew Jones, where we're showcasing the 8 bands who will be performing at Hero Stock 2025 in Ashland, including our next guest. Now, if you think you've heard of South of Center, well, maybe it's because you've heard that they're playing venues all around Nebraska and on Saturday, August 23rd for Hero Stock's Country Night. Now, Matt, they also played last year's Country Night, and I remember it being a set that was high energy, and they even had the crowd moving. What do you remember?
Oh, I mean, I'm gonna tell you, one of the things that we hear over and over again from the bands that we're doing these interviews with is we can't talk enough about the energy. Like there's so much energy coming from all these bands, and you can really tell that their hearts are in it, and you can't help but have a good time. I didn't even know who South of Center was, and I went to Herostock, and now I can't get enough, man.
Yeah.
So that video, I got some questions about that video. I want to dive into his brain a little bit and see what's going on. I'm intrigued.
Well, you'll be happy to know that Chris Holt, who is the lead singer, and we see him playing guitar. Our kind of
Mhm.
he's right there to tell you. Go ahead and tell him. What's your question? Hey, Chris, welcome. First of all,
Thank you very much. Appreciate you guys having me. Excited to be here and keep supporting Hero Stock.
well, it's wonderful seeing you here. Just like what Matt and I are talking about, we did get to see you perform, and you were among one of the four bands we had heard. I mean, I had heard about two or three of the other bands, but when you guys came on stage, I didn't know that you were scheduled to perform. It was my first time there, but when you guys took the stage, you managed to rock the stage, and you were really entertaining, and the confidence level, and people were just kind of dancing around. Is that kind of what we can expect at this year's Hero Stock?
For sure, without a doubt. I think every show that we do, we're trying to bring as much energy as we can. And I think anybody who's come up, starting from the bottom, and now you're starting to get some of these great, events and festivals. You've played maybe some venues that didn't have so many people in them, so we have this saying that no matter what the crowd is like, we are the energy, we are the fun. So we usually manage, no matter where we're at, to be able to take a crowd and get them moving and really kind of sway them with the passion that we bring to the show.
Hey, let's talk about your band. First of all, you are on your bio itself. It says that you're the lead singer, but you're an acoustic guitar player, or
Mhm.
both acoustic and electric.
Yeah, so I'm definitely not the lead guitar player by any means. I would definitely consider myself rhythm at its core. It's cowboy chords and neck whips during the during the show. But no, so our band formed in Gretna, Nebraska, and we really kind of started up maybe in about 2010 or 2011. And ironically, three of us who are still in the band right now, we all lived on the same street. And so I was a professional hockey player for 12 years, and during my off seasons, I would come back to Gretna. And every year I'd come back, there'd be another guy in the basement playing music. And I said, "Who's it?" Well, he moved in across the street and he plays bass. And this guy moved in next door and he plays electric guitar. He's amazing. And the band started to take form just from people moving into the neighborhood. And I remember we needed a bass player, and so we put out on the neighborhood website. We said, "Hey, we're just a couple of guys who like to drink whiskey and hang out in the basement on a Thursday. If anyone plays bass, we need bass." And then a guy chimed in immediately. Just moved in across the street. I play bass and guitar and all this stuff. And at the time, our drummer Tim Burke, he was about 65 years old, so he was going to the doctor a lot, doing what old people do. And he said, "When I'm at the doctor, all we do is talk about music, and he's a professional keyboard player." And we said, "Pick him up." And so then we became a fivesome, and the music catalog started to grow. And we've been through a couple members since, but where we're at right now is a great group. We've been together for about 2.5 years. Tim, our drummer, is now more of our treasurer, and we have a new drummer, Heath Bragg, who's joined the band. So a couple of new members over the course of about 15 years. And I would say in about the last 5 years, we've really started to blow up here, kind of in the local Omaha and Lincoln scene, and had some opportunities to open for Chris Lane and open for a couple other artists at some county fairs and festivals. And so we've really just made a good growth track just by not saying no to opportunities. And Hero Stock was another one of those opportunities that was going to get us in front of new people like yourselves. And we just kind of keep saying yes and keep growing.
Now, I want to go back to the video. I mean, to me, it's like it sounds as if the band really got put into the studio. Everyone's practiced their part. It's time to jam through it. We've got the record button on. Am I close? Is that how it happened?
Tom, preparation is half the battle with some of this stuff. So, I think we take a lot of pride in being kind of a one take band. what you hear on the recording or what you've heard of us at other shows, you're going to hear a consistent performance. We're definitely not a 50 take studio band. We're in there nailing it usually on the first couple of takes. So, that's a very passionate song, and it was written by Matt Boring, our lead guitar player, and so it's one that I think a lot of people like to hear in the show, and it's fun. It's really fun when you sprinkle these originals into a cover set, and the crowd doesn't quite realize that you've done that. They just react organically. We try not to announce when we're going to play an original song. We just try to let them feel it and make sure that we bring the energy and bring the passion to it so they give it a good performance. And all of our originals really get great responses from the crowd just very organically. And that's what ultimately pushed us into the studio to get a recording that wasn't done in a basement.
I have to ask you, okay, now I like covers, right? I always like seeing bands take a song and kind of make it their own.
Mhm.
But what I was more interested in with you guys is I wanted to hear some original stuff, like who is South of Center, right? And so when I got on YouTube and I looked up this video, Better Off Without You, I was like, okay, that's a kick-ass song.
Mhm.
Um, and then I went scrolling back and I saw Texas Highway, and I saw that Better Off Without You was 2 years ago. Texas
Mhm.
Highway was 6 years ago. Now, when I listened to both of those, I could really hear a lot of growth and like confidence and kind of the performing portion of it. But I also heard a lot of these like blues tones. So
Mhm.
I'm wondering if there is an inspiration from a blues artist, who is it? And I guess how, who is it? And which song kind of drove you towards blues?
Well, I didn't write the song, so I can't really speak to the deep inspiration from it, but it is definitely a genre that we like to play. We slip a couple of songs that are definitely have bluesy influences, and we've got the musicians to pull it off, I believe. So when it's very fun in the middle of a show to go from, a really high energy, upbeat cover of something, maybe that's modern or not too old into a bluesy cover that we know no one's going to know. But to be able to shift gears and do that, I think that takes a good amount of skill and to be able to do it. So as far as influences go, I couldn't name a direct one, but
There's
it
so
definitely
many.
creeps. There are so many, but that genre does creep into the original songs that we have for sure.
Yeah. Well, one of the things I wanted to say, I know it was 6 years ago, but even with Texas Highway, there was some subtle things that you had did with your vocals that I
Hmm.
was like, yes. Like when you got, the breaks in between the words, you had the humming, with the
Hmm.
rhythm. I'm like, yes, that guy's in the zone right now. So, dude, I loved it. I loved
But
it.
Matt, sometimes I'm guilty of a little self-indulgence when it comes to some of the vocal work
Aren't we
on
all?
some of these songs. Yeah. So, if I'm humming, it's probably just me, being a little self-indulgent. But it does, we always try to do something in service of the song, right? So when we're going back and thinking of it or rearranging or doing things like that, we're pretty good at keeping ego out of it and just trying to listen very objectively and think to yourself, even something as simple as humming along with a melody for a couple of bars or something like that. Is that in service of the song? Is that adding anything, or are you just being cocky and you
Yeah,
want to
yeah,
hear yourself on the recording?
yeah.
So we try to be very open about that in our feedback to each other, and we have five guys that can take feedback from each other as
That's
long as it's
good.
been pretty
That's good.
constructively. So we try to make a very good effort to keep ego out of the music and really just play in service of it and trying to bring the very best that song has to offer. And I'd be so curious, and I'll be honest, some of this, a 6-year-old version of Texas Highway that you found on the internet, that is one of the songs that we did record in the studio not 3 months ago. So I'll be very interested to hear the difference between those two and how that song has grown into different parts and different little pieces that we've added over time. And it was a song that was honestly buried in the catalog for a lot of years, and we didn't play it. But it's been resurrected, and we did decide that it was going to be one that we were going to record when we, I think we did about 5 covers and 5 originals on this kind of demo recording, and it was one of the ones that kind of came out of the graveyard, and we said, you know what, this song's pretty badass. Like we should bring this one back a little bit and put it back in the mix. So you might hear
Absolutely.
Texas Highway, you might hear it at the Herostock. We haven't decided on our set. We only have an hour, so we'll have to think about whether we put that one in there.
I
But
won't I won't shout Leonard Skinner. Okay. I'll just be like, Texas Highway.
there's the Texas Highway, I'll
Yeah.
tell you what, there'd be some excited people up on the stage that would go, "Oh my God,"
Some people in the crowd like, what's he
they're
talking
like,
about? Like,
"Man,
don't
there's
worry,
some
you're gonna find out.
real south of center fans out here."
So I remember last year, seeing you guys play, and I mean, for the listeners who don't know South of Center, you had mentioned that you were an athlete. What sport did you play?
So I was a hockey player, and I was a goaltender, and I did that here at UNO for a couple of years, and then I turned professional, and I did it with the New York Rangers and St. Louis Blues, and I played over in Russia for a lot of years. So after, yeah, so my career spanned about 13 years professionally, and music crept up. That's where I started playing music. Was I was on the road somewhere, and I remember sitting in a bar and watching a guy sit there and play acoustic guitar by himself and sing just in the corner of this bar. And he wasn't very good, but I remember thinking to myself, I bet it takes a lot of courage to get up and do that. And I wanted to see if I could do that. I got the passion just watching that guy go. And I think I went to Walmart or somewhere and bought a $50 guitar the next day, and I
Yeah.
started learning myself. And that's how I got into it. So being a hockey player and getting exposed to some live music just from some teammates and stuff like that, it spurred me getting into that. And I mean, man, I could talk forever about where it's taken me. I mean, I recorded an album in Latvia with their most famous heavy metal band of all time, called Zels Vilks, which translates into Iron Wolf. And we did a Colby Calais cover, if you can believe it. They did an episode of like Cribs. You remember MTV Cribs, that
Yeah.
show? Well, they did an episode of that on me because in this country, this hockey team was about, as big as the Huskers are here, or anything. It was a big deal, and they saw a guitar sitting in the corner and asked if I played, and I said sure. So they wanted to get a couple pictures of me playing the guitar for a magazine or something like that, and I remember playing some hack version of "Sweet Child of Mine" on the couch, and they recorded it and put it online. Well, that got the hockey fans just blowing up about, we got to get this guy to play some music. So they hooked me up with Zels Vilks in a real studio, and we cut 5 songs. But one of them was a Colby Calais cover because they had asked me. They said, "Hey, send us something so that we know what you sound like." And I sent them it was what I was learning at the time as a very novice guitar player. And they made an arrangement for it, and it's on YouTube. And I think it's got hundreds of thousands of views now, and it blew up. It was on the radio. And so at the end of the season, they asked if I would go and play a collection of songs at center ice in this arena with, 15,000 people. And as a hack beginner musician, this was about the scariest thing I'd ever done in my life. But I did it, I did it for the story.
Wow.
And the recording of the cover, it went viral in the Eastern Bloc countries and all of who were fans of that league. And when I came home, that's when South of Center started.
We ought to ask Chris, are you going to the jam?
Yeah, the
You,
jam.
you know, we'll see. I did see the invite to the jam. Maybe I might be there. We'll have to see what we're doing. Um, but
He'll be
yeah,
before
I
you
did
go
see the
on.
invite. So maybe I'll show up to that and we'll do some cool acoustic stuff.
We'd love to have you, man. It's going to be open to all of the musicians, and if you haven't heard about the jam, it'll be, I believe, at 1:30 p.m., 3 hours ahead of Country Night on Saturday, the
Mhm.
23rd. And not only have we invited all of the musicians who are going to be performing, but anyone who is a guitar player, an acoustic guitar player, anyone who just wants to show up and kind of hang out with the musicians is welcome to come along. Hey, Chris, thank you for just taking a little bit of time to talk about you, your band, the music, and your videos, and everything about your musical journey. We are so looking forward to seeing you in a couple weeks.
Can't wait to see you. Thanks for having us, and everyone at South the Center. Thanks you guys for all the work you're doing, and we're so thrilled to be part of Herostock again. Have a good one.
All right.
You too, bud.
What's up, Herostock Nation? August 22nd, Country Drive Golf Course. We're bringing you 4 amazing rock bands. Our first one to kick off, we have Deliberately Broken coming in out of Texas. We have Die Tired coming in out of Pennsylvania. We have Gallivant, which is a local band here to Omaha, and our headliner that night is Lockjaw. Gates open at 4 p.m. We're going to run till 11. It's going to be an amazing time. Head on out to Country Drive. Let's go.
Well, man, I can say that our list of attendees for the jam session appears to be growing.
Yeah.
Also hearing a lot of, oh, I'm just the rhythm player.
Oh yeah. I'm just
doesn't
this.
matter.
I'm just this.
No, that's totally cool. I mean, it's meant to be just very casual. We'll just sit around.
I can't help but want to pick their brains because to me, I'm still growing.
Mhm.
So I want to pick their brain. Like, tell me how you guys, put your song structure together. Is it always the same? Do you kind of break the rules in certain areas? Like, I really want to pick their brain because I want to grow, and if you have people out there that do these unique things, it helps you grow, so.
Well, you're actually now on the flip side of the coin. I mean, just a few weeks ago, we were teaching people how to write songs.
Yeah.
It's kind of like as the instructor, now you're the student. It's kind of like now that you've got the opportunity to pick their brains.
You gotta just remain teachable,
Absolutely. All right. Thanks again for watching the Herostock Nation podcast. Next week, we'll be inviting 2 more bands who will be appearing at the Ashland Concert Series. It'll be Kimberly Meyer, who's a U.S. Army veteran. She's a singer-songwriter and performing artist from rural Nebraska. And also modern rock heavyweights from Pennsylvania, Die Tired, who also performed on stage at last year's Herostock, featuring an energetic blend of alternative rock, grunge, and pop influences. Looking forward to that. Anyways, Matt, time to wrap it up. For Matthew Jones, I'm Tom Lamog. I want to thank you for watching the Herostock Nation podcast. We'll see you next week.